All right. Hey, we back. You know what? This new series that I'm starting, I'm really excited about it. I've read through this book, so I'm pulling some stuff out of this book. It's, in life, we have a lot of hard trouble with, I think, holding on to just small things and things that people say. And it's hard for me, too. But I think the more we realize it and the more we talk about it and try to retrain our brains to doing things a different way, the better off we can be. That's for sure. I know that. So I'm just going to read this and maybe we can talk about it a little bit. So often we allow ourselves to get all worked up about things that upon closer examination aren't really that big of a deal. We focus on little problems and concerns and blow them way out of proportion. Lord knows I have many times. I'm sure y'all can think back to something small that you blew out of proportion that really didn't matter at the end of the day. You know, one thing that I started to do if I have a problem or a problem with somebody, I write it down on my notebook or in my journal. And then like the next day or maybe even just, that evening, I'll read it back to myself. And sometimes reading back to yourself a problem, you read it back and you're like, that's not really that big a deal. I can let that go. And the more stuff you can let go, the better you are. I put it in context like my computer or my phone. When it starts to get full, your phone doesn't operate very good. And it keeps popping up if you have an iPhone, back up. And it's annoying. It's annoying because it's full. There's too much stuff on it, on your phone. I like to think my brain's like that too. It gets overloaded with too much stuff that you don't need. The Lord says, live a simple, clean life. I think the less stuff that I can keep on my mind especially of negative context, the better off we can be. So sometimes you got to clear your hard drive and only keep the things you need and move forward, because every day is a new life, one day at a time. A stranger, for example, might cut in front of us in traffic. Rather than let them go and go on with our day, we convince ourselves that we are justified in anger. We play out an imaginary confrontation in our mind. Many of us might even tell someone else about the incident later on, rather than simply let it go. That's a problem I have and we all have, not letting stuff go. If something happened on the way to work, you're still mad about it, somebody cut you off. And for those of you out there that have road rage, that's ridiculous. I hope you can let that go. I had that in my 20s, now in my mid 30s. I don't care. I try not to get in too big of a rush. Let's just all take it easy out there. That's a dangerous world with all these people behind the wheel. So, and road rage can turn into a bad deal. If you have to pull over or get behind somebody for 30 seconds, it's not going to change your world. I always say you can drive 90 miles an hour down the interstate, but if you pull into town and hit a red light, it's basically like you drove 75 the whole way, because that one red light throws you off the minute you saved anyways. Just something to think about. Why not instead simply allow the driver to have his accident somewhere else? Try to have compassion for the person and remember how painful it is to be in such an enormous hurry. This way, we can maintain our own sense of well-being and avoid taking other people's problems personally. I believe that to be true. When somebody's hurting, they lash out at other people. They don't even mean to. So that's that deal. The life is 90% what happens, or life is 10% what happens to you and 90% the way you react. And I find that to be so true, because somebody can say something snotty to you and you can let it bother you all day, or you can't. It's up to you. That's what's so hard with our brains. We're stuck inside this box. And the problem with being stuck inside the box is you can't read the label from the outside. And most of us are broken. And, in some way or another. And we're all trying to fix that broken thing inside of us. And I think for a lot of us, it's finding purpose. Like I've said before, I find my purpose through my higher power. And the days just keep getting better and better. As long as you stay fully surrendered. There are many similar small stuff examples that occur every day in our lives, whether we had to wait in line, listen to an unfair criticism, or do the lion's share of the work. It pays, I guarantee you. Enormous dividends if we learn not to worry about little things. So many people spend so much of their life and energy sweating the small stuff that they completely lose touch with the magic and beauty of life. And that's so important. Life's beautiful. Once you get somehow, it's hard to get to the other side of worry and stress. But when you make that leap, and I've made it recently, and get to the other side and realize that things aren't that big of a deal, and realize that if you got God on your side, He'll take care of it. When you put everything into Him and let Him run your life, and it's amazing the way things can turn around and for the better, and you can let all the small stuff go. That's for sure. When you commit to working towards this goal, you will find that you will have far more energy to be kinder and gentler. And we all know that's what the world needs: more compassion and more love. That's for sure. I'm hoping through me and through this small little podcast in the hearts of people, I can start a small movement and we can start having more compassionate and love for our brother. I've grown a love for my fellow human race that I never knew I had inside of me. And I believe that's a seed that was planted. That was a positive seed. So it's going to bear good fruits. I believe that to be true. I believe how we start our day is how our day goes. I believe that to be true because I do that. I'm committed to that. I plant good seeds in the morning. I try to. If you plant positive seeds, you're going to be growing positive all day. If you plant negative seeds, you're going to be growing negative all day. So the more we can focus on the positive, even through hard times, because I know times are hard. Things can get hard. There's bills unpaid. There's just things that you're struggling with in your own family or your own personal life, where you're young, old, single, or married. You know, it's funny when you're single, you wish you had somebody, and when you have somebody, you wish you were single. That's just saying the grass is greener on the other side, because a relationship and marriage and that's a big commitment. That takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of humility. And anybody that's listening to this and is in one, I'm sure they're agreeing with me. I've been in a couple really long-term relationships, and one of them had kids involved, helped raise kids, and at times it can get stressful. I can recall pulling up to the house after work and just knowing that there was just chaos and stuff going on inside, and just sitting there being like, ugh, I want to be single. But then you're single the next weekend and you come home and the house is quiet and you're like, well, this is depressing, a quiet house. So I believe we just got to find that happy medium, find your heart, as they say, and work at that the best way you can, because the grass is always greener on the other side in our own minds, but it's really not. It's just amazing to me how we can just get off course so quickly, and how we can just let little things worry us so much. So I would say, try not to sweat the small stuff. And the crazy thing about the small stuff is it's all small stuff, all of it. No matter how big you think your problem is, or somebody that's went through a problem worse than you, no matter how bad your financial situation is, there's somebody in a worse financial situation. And quit saying you're broke. I heard it like this the other day. Quit being down on yourself saying you're broke. Just say, I got a temporary cash flow problem. You ain't broke. You just got a temporary cash flow problem. And then work on that problem to solve it as quickly and efficiently as far. Gain some velocity. Get further away from your current position. I love that. So, thanks for listening to me ramble. This is episode 1 of my series of not sweating the small stuff. I'm going to try to do a couple of weeks, so I'll bring that to you. And love y'all. And remember, lose that ego, become humble, find some compassion for somebody, give somebody a compliment, go help somebody out. Call your mama. Love y'all. I'm out. Oh, by the way, this is Just Good Living podcast coming at you loud and proud from the great state of Kansas. Please like this video. Just make a comment, nice or anything. It helps my viewership out. Put subscribe, share the video on Facebook. I believe the more positive content we have on the interwebs, and the more stuff that's helpful, will really help the world out. And maybe if we can start to change just one person at a time, then maybe someday we can change this world and we can live without this division. Love y'all. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe, share.